stop. Before you watch one more second of this video, I want you to think of one person whose opinion of you actually controls how you feel about yourself. A coworker, a parent, an ex, someone from your past, maybe a friend who doesn't even know how much weight their words carry. You have someone in mind? Good. Because by the end of this video, that person's psychological power over you is going to be completely, permanently destroyed. You know what's exhausting, and I mean deeply, silently exhausting, living inside a version of yourself that you've built for other people. You wake up in the morning, and before you even brush your teeth, you're already running a simulation in your mind. What will they think? What will they say? Did I come across wrong yesterday? Do they respect me? It doesn't stop. You make a decision and immediately second guess it. Not because you think it's wrong, but because you're already imagining someone else's reaction. You dim your ideas in meetings because you're afraid of looking stupid. You hold back your real opinions because conflict feels dangerous. You work hard and then you wait for someone else to validate the work before you allow yourself to feel good about it. Have you ever felt like you're living your life in the third person? Like you're watching yourself perform for an audience you never even auditioned for? That's not ambition. That's a prison. And the worst part? You built it yourself, brick by brick. Every time you let someone else's opinion become your reality. But here's what most people don't realize. This isn't a character flaw. This isn't weakness. This has a name, a psychology, and most importantly, a way out. Let's talk about why this is actually happening, because it's not what you think. Most people assume approval seeking is about being insecure or people pleasing. And sure, those are symptoms. But the root goes deeper than that. Your brain, the most powerful organ on this planet, is a survival machine first. And somewhere in your early life, your brain learned a very specific equation. Approval, i.e. safety, rejection, i.e. danger. Think about it. As a child, disapproval from the people around you literally had consequences. You lost connection, you lost belonging, you lost safety. So your brain, being smart, said, okay, we need to monitor what other people think of us at all times because our survival depends on it. That was useful when you were 7 years old, at 25, at 30. It's destroying you because that same system that was protecting you as a child is now running on autopilot in your adult life, treating your boss's raised eyebrow like a life-threatening event, treating your cousin's snarky comment like a signal that you need to completely reevaluate your choices. And here's where it gets dangerous. The more you seek approval, the more your brain needs it. It becomes a loop. Every time you get validation and feel better, your brain registers, this works. And every time you don't get it, the hunger grows louder. You're not building confidence. You're building a dependency. It's 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Marcus is 27 years old, sitting at his kitchen table, laptop open, staring at a business plan he spent 4 months building. It's detailed, it's researched, it's actually good, but he hasn't shown it to anyone because 3 years ago, his older brother looked at his last idea and laughed. Not cruelly, just a quick, dismissive chuckle. Come on, man, be realistic. That was it. 14 seconds of one interaction, and Marcus has been frozen ever since. Every time he gets close to launching, applying, pitching, posting, his brother's voice shows up in his head, and Marcus closes the laptop, tells himself he needs to refine it more first. He's been refining it for 4 months. He's not afraid of failure. He's afraid of his brother's face when he fails. Do you see what's happening here? Marcus isn't stuck because of a bad plan. He's stuck because he gave one person, a lifetime membership to his inner boardroom. And that person doesn't even know it. Sound familiar? The real reason you're still stuck isn't lack of talent, lack of resources, or lack of time. It's that you've outsourced your permission slip. You're waiting for someone, a parent, a peer, a stranger on the internet to say, yes, you're allowed to go. And they're never going to say it. Not because they don't care about you, but because people who are comfortable in their own mediocrity cannot give you permission to be extraordinary. They don't have it. You can't pour from an empty cup. Let that sink in. Here's the aha moment. Here's the thing that changes everything. Approval seeking feels like it's about them, their opinion, their reaction, their validation. But it's never actually been about them. It's always been about what you believe you're worth without proof. Read that again. You seek approval because some part of you doesn't fully believe in your own judgment yet. Not because you're broken, but because you've never been forced to stand alone long enough to discover that you can every single time you let someone's opinion override your own inner voice. You're sending your brain a message. My instincts can't be trusted. I need external data. And the longer you do that, the weaker your internal compass gets. You stop trusting yourself. And then you need more validation to feel okay. More likes, more praise, more reassurance. And here's the identity shift that will rewire everything. You are not building success. You are building the person who no longer needs permission to pursue it. Success isn't the goal. You, the version of you who trusts themselves, acts without applause, and moves without an audience, that's the goal. Success is just what happens when that person shows up consistently. Now the hard truth, and I need you to hear this without flinching. The people whose approval you're chasing, most of them are losing, not financially, not always visibly, but internally, they're losing. They haven't taken a real risk in years. They haven't done anything that scared them. They haven't built anything worth being proud of. And you, someone who's hungry, someone who's trying, someone who watches videos like this at midnight because you still believe things can be different, you're handing the keys of your self-worth to people who've parked their car in the same spot for a decade. That stops today. Priya is 24. She just got promoted at her company, youngest person in her department to move up that fast. And the night it happened, instead of feeling proud, she felt anxious because the first thing she thought wasn't, I earned this. The first thing she thought was, what are my coworkers going to say? And sure enough, within 2 days, whispers. She only got it because management likes her. She's not ready. Give it a year. And Priya, who worked 60-hour weeks, who prepared every presentation twice, who sacrificed weekends for 2 years, started second-guessing herself. She started over-explaining her decisions to prove she deserved her role. She started shrinking in meetings again, making herself smaller so people wouldn't talk. She handed her promotion back to the critics before she even cashed her first paycheck at the new level. Here's the brutal question. Who won? Not Priya. The critics won. Without lifting a single finger, they took from her what she spent 2 years building, and they didn't even know they did it. Do you see what approval seeking actually costs you? It costs you the fruits of your own labor. If this video is hitting differently right now, if something in your chest is tight because you know this is you, it means you haven't given up on yourself yet. And that matters more than you know. Hit the like button right now. Not for me, but because this message deserves to reach someone else who's been living small because of someone who doesn't even deserve a seat at their table. And if you're new here, welcome. Subscribe. This channel is for people who are done settling. All right, let's get into how you actually break this. Here are 5 mindset tools, real, practical, and battle tested, that will help you permanently detach your self-worth from other people's opinions. Right now, inside your head, there is a boardroom, and there are people sitting around that table who have a vote on every decision you make, your confidence, your ambitions, your self-image. The question is, did you choose those people, or did they just end up there? Most people have never intentionally decided who gets to influence them. They just absorbed whoever was around. Critical parents, jealous peers, a teacher who said the wrong thing in 6th grade. Here's your application. Take a literal piece of paper. Write down the names of the 5 people whose opinions affect you the most. Then next to each name, write, have they built something I want? Have they done what I'm trying to do? Have they earned their seat? If the answer is no, fire them. Mentally, symbolically, permanently, you are the CEO of your own mind. Start acting like it. The reason you seek approval is because you don't have enough internal evidence yet that you can trust yourself. So instead of looking outward for validation, you need to start creating internal evidence. This is simple but radical. Every day, do one thing you said you'd do. Not a big thing, not a life-changing thing, a small, quiet commitment, and keep it. Wake up when you said you would. Finish the task you started. Send the email you've been avoiding. Each small kept promise is a vote. And the more votes you collect, the stronger your internal conviction becomes. You stop needing others to believe in you because you believe in you, and you have receipts, the real life version of this. Every morning, write one thing down. By 9 p.m., it's done. No exceptions, no negotiation. You'll feel the shift within 2 weeks. David Goggins didn't build his mind by seeking approval. He built it by doing things in private that nobody would ever see, clap for, or acknowledge. He ran at 3 a.m. in the rain, not for Instagram, not for a coach, for himself. Because the standard he was building wasn't for an audience. It was for the man in the mirror. Here's the question you need to sit with. What would you do if no one would ever know? If there were 0 likes, 0 comments, 0 recognition, would you still do it? If the answer is no, that's not a dream, that's a performance. Start doing things that have no audience. Work out without posting it. Read without announcing it. Help someone without mentioning it. Every time you act without applause, you rewire your motivation from external to internal. And that internal engine, it never runs out of fuel. The next time someone's opinion sends you into a spiral, ask this single question. Will this matter in 10 years? Not might it matter. Will it actually matter? Your coworker's eye roll, your uncle's unsolicited advice, the comment section, the person who didn't text back. In 10 years, genuinely, will any of that be relevant to your life? No. But whether you started in spite of their doubt, whether you built in silence while they talked, whether you became who you knew you could be despite the noise, that will matter. That will be your story. Use this test as a filter. Not everything deserves an emotional reaction. Most of it deserves a quiet nod and a return to work. Here's the hardest one. because it requires you to drop something comfortable. You have to stop making other people's opinions your responsibility. You cannot control what someone thinks of you. You cannot force respect, admiration, or belief. And every second you spend trying to manage someone else's perception of you is a second stolen from building the actual reality of who you are. What you can control, your work ethic, your honesty, your consistency, your choices, your character, focus there exclusively. Let the opinions fall where they may. The people worth impressing will notice the work. The ones who won't, they were never your audience. Imagine this. It's 6 months from now. You've been applying these tools, not perfectly, not every single day, but consistently. And something has quietly shifted. Your old self would have spent an hour before a meeting rehearsing what to say so people would think you were smart. The new you walks in having done the actual preparation and speaks from that place, not for applause, for truth. Your old self would have held back the business idea for another perfect moment that never came. The new you would have launched the imperfect version 3 months ago and already learned more than a year of waiting could have taught you. Your old self would have read a critical comment and spent the rest of the day trying to figure out who was right, them or you. The new you reads it, asks honestly if there's any truth worth extracting, discards the rest, and gets back to building. Do you see the difference? It's not that you stop caring about what people think. It's that you stop needing them to think the right thing in order to move forward. The before version of you waited for permission. The after version of you moves and lets the results make the statement. Here's what the internal dialogue sounds like now. Someone doubts you. The old voice would say, maybe they're right. Maybe I should wait. Maybe I'm not ready. The new voice, built from kept promises, built from private work, built from evidence, says, interesting. Let me show you. Not out loud, not defensively, just quietly, devastatingly, through action. That's the shift. From needing to be believed in to being too busy building to notice who's watching. Here's where I want you to really see something. The version of you that no longer lives for approval, that person doesn't become cold. They don't become arrogant. They don't stop caring about people. They become free to have actual opinions, free to take actual risks, free to fail publicly and stand back up without needing a crowd to cheer them on, free to love people without needing things from them. You know what that person looks like in real life? They're the one in the room who's calm when everyone else is reactive. They're the one who speaks with conviction because they've already had the hard conversations with themselves. They're the one who helps others not because they need to be seen as good, but because they genuinely want to. They're the one who looks in the mirror at the end of the day and feels not perfect, but honest, aligned, at peace with the person staring back. That's not a fantasy. That's the logical result of what we've talked about today. Confidence built from consistency, not compliments. Emotional control built from discipline, not distance. Self-trust built from the 1,000 quiet moments when no one was watching and you showed up anyway. And here's what that future version of you never does. They never look back and wonder, what could I have built if I stopped waiting for people to believe in me first? Because they already know the answer. Everything, absolutely everything. So let me bring it back to where we started. That person you thought of at the beginning of this video. The one whose opinion has had a lease on your confidence. The one whose voice shows up uninvited. Every time you get close to something real, they didn't take anything from you. You gave it. And the moment you decide to take it back, not loudly, not in a dramatic confrontation, just quietly, internally, permanently, everything changes. Your decisions change. Your energy changes. The things you pursue change. The things you allow in your life change. You were never waiting for better circumstances. You were waiting for permission. And the only person with the authority to give it was always you. Now hear this and hear it clearly. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you belief in yourself. No one is going to love your dream into existence for you. But you have something most people never find, the awareness that you've been giving away your power and the choice to stop. That's not a small thing. That's everything. You are not the approval you receive. You are not the opinions people carry about you. You are not the version of yourself that was built to fit in. You are the person who shows up in the dark, who works without applause, who builds without permission, who refuses to let someone else's smallness become your ceiling. Your mindset is your most powerful weapon. Now go use it.